Hello,
Hello.
can you hear
Oh,
me?
hello. There you are. Hi.
Hi, we got there in the end.
We did. We did. I
How are you
didn't
doing
realize you were
today?
English. I'm just suddenly quite shocked for some reason. I kind of assumed you were an American. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah, I guess there's not that much stuff like this in the UK. I guess it's
Yeah.
more of
Yeah, that's
a North
it. That's what it
American
is.
type thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Bit of some UK rap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. Thanks for joining us anyway. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do an interview with us anyway.
No problem.
No problem. So I've got a whole bunch of questions here. Um, all little mostly about writing, but not all about writing. So
Oh,
uh I will get cracking and talk as much as you'd like.
all right.
So first question is basically what made you decide that you wanted to start writing stories, especially lesbian romance ones?
Hmm. Well, I think that what drove me to it sounds like a terrible thing that's happened, like I've committed a murder. What drove me to it was kind of wanting to read things. They're not exist. Wait, I'm going to start this. I'm going to start talking again because I've just completely lost my track.
It's all
I
right. I
was.
do that on a regular
I'm gonna.
basis.
I'm gonna try that again. Wanting to write things that I would want to read because I wanted to read fun rom-coms that made me laugh, and there weren't so many of those. I think,
Mhm.
probably there's a lot more now. But at that time, yeah, it was hard to find just something that would make you laugh. So
Yeah,
I think
exactly. Yeah.
that's why I started writing the kind of books that I write.
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to see yourself represented and what you enjoy mostly, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Most
So
definitely.
you don't have to name any specific people, but do you ever base any of your characters on people that you
Mm.
know or have seen about in your life?
I do sometimes, I mean, a lot of my characters will obviously have parts of me in them. I think for the most truthful characters, that's what you have to do. You have to mine yourself. But I will sometimes kind of wrap that around um, celebrity personalities to sort of find those archetypes. Um, so yeah, I would say it's part famous figures, part me.
Well, that's good. That's good because you can celebrities as well. You can put almost whatever character you want in them, and you can
Exactly.
imagine what they're like. It's easy, isn't it? If you don't know them
Yeah,
personally.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You go
The,
there. You
the,
can. Yeah, you did the one at the book where it had a celebrity in one of them as well. I was really thinking about that the other day as well. I was reading that one and I thought that was really fun. Having
oh,
book with the celebrity and just married, wasn't it? Yeah, that was interesting.
just married. Oh, yeah. I've done a few celebrity characters. Um, I'm currently writing one that has celebrity characters in it, but they're not the central characters. But it's
Oh right,
kind of
yeah.
but I won't say more. It's too early, far too early.
We tease it. We tease it.
Yeah.
So I love people watching.
Mm.
I find it fascinating. As a writer, does it help you to people watch too? Do you just sit sometimes and take notes or mental notes on sort of random behaviors that people do to make your characters a little bit more realistic?
I never mean to. I'm never intentionally doing it, but I think as a creative, you just absorb it, and sometimes things will stick. You'll hear something and you'll think, "Oh, the universality of what I've just heard," and it will sort of stick. So
Yeah.
I don't ever mean to people watch, but you can't help it, can you?
Yeah, there's certain lines people say as well
Um,
sometimes, even like you think about them for days after you go, God, actually, that's really true. And then,
yeah.
you say it to other people and then it becomes a thing. And then you do
Mm,
remember it. Yeah. So obviously, with Qinterviews, we do a lot of LGBT rep, but
mm.
is there any like lesbian trope that you really enjoy writing and also that you really hate, i.e., two women moving in quickly together, or one is more feminine than the other. What do you think of that sort of thing? And do you think it's a good thing or not so great?
I mean, tropes really have their place, but there's some I would uh definitely avoid, I think, because if I feel uncomfortable with them, for
Yeah,
example. Um, but I would say, I mean, I think I really enjoy fake romance. And I
yeah,
think other people really enjoy it too. There's something about not intending. Um, there's something about a complete lack of intention to fall in love that is always more fun, I think, than somebody who is looking for it. So I think that sort of goes along with fake romance, and that's why I like that trope.
yeah. Also, the one where they didn't know they were gay, and then they had to do the fake romance, and then
Yeah, yeah, I
funnily enough,
actually,
it's stuck in there somewhere.
that's in my new book, and I love it.
That's why I'm currently reading that, and I thought that
Oh,
that
cool.
sounds very familiar. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's yeah, I think that's it's fun, isn't it? Because you can go
Mm,
through a multitude of feelings with that as well.
yeah.
Because you don't just necessarily start off as one faceted character. You can see all the different stages of progression. I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you had to choose one of your characters from your books to be best friends with, who would you pick and why?
Oh my gosh. Oh, oh my, oh,
Who do
you've
you think you would
really
gel
asked
well
me
with?
something. Well, I mean, I've written several Ice Queens, and those are probably the ones that I would get along with the most. I think Jodie from Sweetest Thing, I'd probably be friends with her. You
Who do
know,
you
I
think
like
you'd have a falling out with as well?
probably one of my very first books was The Plus One, and the central character, Charlie, she would drive me crackers. But I think because she's a person who's constantly falling in and out of love, and that it drives me insane when people do that. But I think, she comes to a realization and changes. But yeah, people who just fall in love a lot
Yeah,
drive me mad.
yeah. That's a lot of if you're friends with someone like that as well, that's a lot of up and down to have to deal with.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, if they're a distant acquaintance, the juiciness it can be quite fun. But if you're pulled into it on a
Yeah,
regular basis, you just don't need that if you have a
no,
full-time life.
exactly. It's like when you're at school, isn't it? And then it's fine looking at the
Mm.
gossip from a distance, but you don't really want to have anything to do with it. You're quite happy to sit
Gosh,
and
no.
watch. No, no. So do you have any advice for aspiring authors? Because I know there are a lot out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be for lesfics or just in general.
I think this is not going to be original advice, and it's going to be the advice that any writer is going to give you. But my advice is to just write and don't worry about your audience. Like initially, just start writing. You'll find your way. Don't worry about where that piece of writing is going to end up. Just start and keep going. And don't worry if it's really, really super hard and you're terrified of a blank page. Just write a sentence, write the next sentence, and keep pushing on because you will get there.
That's good. That's good advice. True to most things. You've got to just
Yeah,
get
you got to do it.
going. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Get going. Crack
just do
on.
it. That's it. Do you have a favorite book that you have written, and if so, why?
My favorite book that I've written, it was one of my less successful ones, but it has such a place in my heart. And it's See You at the End of the World. And it's a post-apocalyptic romance. Um, because I really like action for a start, and there's a lot of action in
Mhm.
it. Action's really easy to write more than people's inner thoughts. So I have fond memories of writing it. I think that's why I love it, because I remember thinking, this is just falling out of me. Brilliant. But it didn't, I guess it wasn't maybe quite not my brand. So it didn't really connect with my readers. So I sort of try to give people what they want while staying true to myself.
It's surprising you say that it's easier to write. See, me thinking about it, I would have thought action would be harder, only because I can't imagine a fight scene in my head. Like,
Hmm.
like when you see it on telly, you think, God, that's like they've acted it, they practiced it. So you'd have to go through and like imagine it, and I'm rubbish. Like I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
love.
interesting that you say you actually like writing action. That's really
Yeah, I
cool.
really do because a lot of what I write is introspection. So it's really nice to have people just doing things rather than
That's
thinking
true.
things.
That's true. Getting the hands dirty, as it were.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, why not? So are you watching any TV shows or films you particularly like at the moment? Are you binging anything?
I am, well, it's on its break, but Love is Blind has got me in its grip right now. It's just pure drama. I love it. I think this is the most messy season ever, and I am loving it.
I watched the first season and then I started watching the second one and I was like, I really shouldn't be watching this. And I
Yeah,
gave
it's
it a break, but it's one of those things where I think, oh, I could watch it again. But
pure
I'm like,
guilt,
I know I'll
pure
get
guilty
sucked into
watch
it.
for sure. Yeah, because I'm not
Uh,
a reality watcher actually, or I don't think of myself as one. But I have. It's just yeah, it is definitely my guilty pleasure. I absolutely love it.
didn't they do an all women one of those at some point in
Oh,
America?
it was fantastic. It was
I've
a
heard about it, but I
mess.
haven't watched it yet.
It was everything. It was just so. It was lesbians being lesbians in the way that only they can, and it was perfect.
Fantastic. I think it's on Netflix somewhere. I should probably have to watch
Oh,
it.
oh, you must. You
It
must.
sounds like carnage from the things I've been hearing about it.
It really was. It
So the
really
next,
was.
I've got three questions from my friend. She's called SJ Hart, and she has recently been publishing some of her own lesfic books, actually. So she's a massive fan of yours, and she was so
Oh,
excited when I said that we were having you on. She jumping up and down, I well imagine. So I said to her I would let you know that she's a massive fan and that she's also a writer. So this is where she's coming from when she asked these questions. Um,
okay.
so she put this genre, obviously the genre you write in has grown massively over the last few years. Do you ever feel the pressure to keep up with the authors who are putting out 4 or 5 books a year?
Well, at one time I was putting out 4 or 5 books a year, and then I had a child, and I had no option but to slow down because I was just incredibly tired all the time, and still am.
Right.
So I can only do what I can do, uh, um, and hopefully at some point she will slow down a bit and I can speed back up. But yeah, I can't do what I used to do, which was 4 or 5 books a year.
Yeah, I mean, family does have to come first, doesn't it? So
Yeah,
that makes perfect
definitely.
sense. And she says, what does your writing process look like? If you listen to music, do you have a favorite genre that's conductive to your work?
Hmm.
So, like, maybe do you start with the characters and then think of the story, or do you think of a story and then come up with
I
characters to
definitely
fit
come up
that?
with the story first. Definitely story first. It's the concept. I need a good, strong concept. And then I try to find the people who will fit into that story. Um, as with music, oh, I really don't have a great answer for that one. I do listen to music. It's really important for my productivity. Um, but whatever it's really whatever is in my life, generally speaking. It's not and it's on random. So I've no clue what's coming next.
That's good. That's like me. I do that. I put everything on shuffle and then
Yeah,
it can decide for me.
yeah. On
Yeah,
occasion, I
that
think there's a playlist that'll be like, what have you been listening to way too much? And I'll click on that, but it will still be pretty random.
yeah, no, that's good though, because have a bit of spice of life and so you get something
Yeah,
from the 80s and something from the
mm,
noughties and
yeah,
a bit of everything. Yeah.
definitely.
My Spotify is decidedly varied. It probably thinks I'm doing like school discos or something, but back to the childhood, why not?
We all have a bit of
So
nostalgia.
oh yeah, I love a bit of the Spice Girls and What else have we got? Backstreet Boys. Oh,
Mm,
the
yeah,
classics.
yeah. That's all the music of my teen years as well. So you're speaking my language right now.
Quite right. You need to have a bit of cheese.
Yeah.
Um, so SJ's last question. There's a lot of events occurring in our community. These are a great place to meet readers. There's a lot of discourse recently about how much of ourselves we give away to readers. You're a writer who keeps their identity pretty anonymous. Do you ever feel pressured to attend these events in order to maintain your reader base?
Yeah, I would say I definitely would probably do a bit better if I put myself out there, but I guess it's more important to me to maintain my anonymity ultimately. So that's the choice I've made, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So yeah, I mean I get invited to stuff sometimes and I don't go to it. Um, but I'd kind of like to. I'd kind of like to be among the people that read and the people that write what I write. But that is the choice I've made, and I'm sticking with it, I think.
No, that's fair enough. And you're just certainly not the only one.
Mm.
And I mean, you could always go, I guess, as a fan, if that makes sense.
True.
Not like
That's true.
you should go to things and just be, you could just, you know, give yourself a obviously completely different name and no one will know. And
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
turn up like
that's fun
Bruce
as well. Or
Wayne,
just
pretending he doesn't know who Batman is.
yeah, or just go to like a reading group or something. I mean, that's the
Mm,
other option, but it's
true,
probably be
true.
pretty difficult to, you know,
Yeah, I feel like
if
I'd maybe
somebody's
have to.
reading your book as well, that'd be difficult.
I think I'd find it difficult to lie.
Yeah,
I'd struggle with that. I'm not a great liar. I don't tend to. Yeah, I don't think I'd do well in that situation trying to maintain my secret identity.
yeah, I'm pretty rubbish at that as well, to be fair. But yeah, I think it's not unusual to be anonymous, and I think people respect that as well because at the end of the day, you're telling stories, and
Mm.
it's up to you whether you want to be anonymous or not. I think it's fair enough. Um, so in terms of LGBT movements and things like that. Obviously, do you think Lesfix has got a lot more popular recently? Do you think I feel like it has, but from your point of view, do you think
I
there's a lot
Well, there's a
more
lot.
outcry for it?
I mean, there's been a gap for a long time. As a consumer of lesbian media, there's never been enough, and in some areas there still really isn't. But I think as a reader, you are a lot more catered for than you've ever been. There's a lot more people putting books out there now. It's really growing, and it's filling the gap that I would say movies and TV is leaving us behind in. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
at
It
least
did go
in
through
terms
a
of books,
spike and
definitely.
then
Yeah,
yeah, it did.
yeah,
It went through we've got quite a lot of LGBT characters and it's suddenly all falling apart. And I think books are definitely um filling a hole for a lot of people for sure.
yeah.
So I got one final question. So if someone has not read any of your books, which one would you recommend as their first book of yours to read and why? So this is
Hmm.
your plug. You can plug whatever you like right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, this at this point, I want to talk about my current release, which is Indecent Promposal,
Yes.
because I really enjoyed writing it. I think it's fun. I think it's funny. Obviously, I think it's funny because I was laughing while I wrote it, but
That's a good sign.
it's all I have. Do you know what I mean? It's the only thing I've got to go on. So I think if you really just want to have a good time, that's what I'm here for. And I'd say Indecent Proposal is a great example of what I do.
I agree with that. I agree with that because
Thank you.
it's not stressful to read. You enjoy it. I started and I just kept going through the chapters and you don't stop and you think, well, I need to stop now. I need to go to bed. because I read before I go to bed.
That's
So I was like, right, I
exactly
need
what
to
I'm
stop.
hoping to happen. That's
Yes,
exactly. I'm really trying to ruin your sleep. I'm like, no, you
I
can't
think I've
read
got
yet.
literally 2 chapters left. I was like, I'm saving this now. You know what I'll be doing later? I'll do, that's where
Yeah.
we're going reading the book. But yeah, so that's great. Is there anything else you'd like to say before anything to your fans, or if you got anything to tease or anything like that that we can close out with?
I guess I just want to say thank you. I appreciate in the incredibly quite crowded marketplace that exists now. If you choose me, I appreciate that, and I will do my best to give you a good time.
Fantastic.
That's all I've got to say.
That works for me. Thanks so much for doing the interview. I know obviously it's a bit different, from your stories and everything, but we appreciate being able to hear from you in person as well. So that's nice.
Well, thank you very
Thank you very
much
much.
for speaking to me. I don't do many interviews, so it's kind of nice to speak to someone occasionally because mainly I just sit alone with my laptop and it's just me, and I don't really speak to people a lot. So it's kind of nice to remember that there are human beings out there.
Oh yes, we do read the books. Yes, we do. Especially SJ. She's very,
Oh,
very excited.
oh well. Thank you, SJ. I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. And I hope you have a nice evening. And I
Thank you very
will
much.
try and endeavour to transcribe this, which will be fun. Get it up on the
Yeah.
tube.
Yep.
All right, have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you very much. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time. Bye.